Hello and welcome to a new video lesson. For this day, we will discuss about natural hazards and disaster. Please be ready for this exciting lesson. Take note of the important details or you may take a screenshot of those details that you have gathered from this lesson. For this lesson, this is our objective for this day, or it will act as our target. First one is to describe the various hazards such as volcanic eruption, earthquake, landslides, and tropical cyclones. The second objective is to cite ways to prevent or mitigate the impact of natural disaster. For our first agenda for this lesson is about hazards. We are living in a violent world and extreme environment, and everywhere we go, our life can be threatened by different events. For this lesson, we will expand the concept of hazards and the impact of it to the daily livings of every human beings. First thing we need to do is to define the term hazard. Usually, yung hazard na term, napapalit natin to sa meaning na risk and disaster. But hazard, the term itself, is different from risk and disaster. When we say hazard, it is a dangerous phenomenon. Substance, human activity, or condition that may cause loss of life, injury, or other health impacts, property damage, loss of livelihoods and services, social and economic disruption, or environmental damage. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, ang hazard ay isang general term na ibinibigay natin sa lahat ng uri ng panganib na maaaring mayroong epekto sa ating mga tao or magdulot ng isang particular na damage sa atin, sa property at sa environment. So, hazard is not about risk and disaster. Hazard is about danger that we can be experiencing or we can experience at the end of the day. We have also different kinds of hazard. The first one is the geological hazard, which means the origin of that hazard are from the earth itself or from the land, followed by the hydrological, which means water contributed to this kind of hazard or this kind of danger. We also have oceanic, which means it came from the ocean or the ocean contributed for this hazard. We also have biological, like what we are experiencing noong COVID-19 pandemic. This is an example of biological hazard, and we also have technological hazard, which is also similar with man-made hazard. These are the hazards that been contributed to different human activity. Remember, once again, this is the different types of hazard. Once again, hazard can be described by means of frequency of occurrence and scientific analysis. Take note that hazard is a repetitive pattern of event. This makes hazard different from accident. But remember, hazards can also be contributed to accident, especially if there is no signages or information telling about the background of that phenomenon or human activity. Now, let's expand this two term, which is also connected to hazard, but once again, risk and disaster are different from each other. When we say risk, it means it is our exposure to hazard. It means that we have been exposed to a type of hazard, whether it is geological, hydrological, oceanic, biological, or technological. Well, disaster is a serious disruption of the functioning of a community or society. It means that we are referring to the impact of that hazard to a human being or to the aspect of the society. We are also talking about in disaster, the magnitude of the impact of the hazard to the daily living of human being. Hindi lang isa ang naapektuhan sa disaster, kundi yung buong sistema ng lipunan. Maaring pag sinabi nating disaster, nagkaroon na ng epekto sa transportasyon, sa telekomunikasyon, sa serbisyo ng gobyerno. Kaya masasabi natin na ito ay isang uri ng disaster. So that it is the difference between hazard, risk, and of course disaster. Disaster is also a combination of the following factor. First one is the exposure to hazard. If we will be exposed to many types of hazard, therefore there is a chance of having higher disaster or higher level. The second factor is conditions of vulnerability. Example of this is the number of the profile of the population. Habang dumadami ang population, mas tumataas rin yung chance na magkaroon ng disaster. Also, with the profile of the population, mas maraming matanda, mas maraming bata, at mas maraming mga buntis. Mas mataas din yung chance na magkaroon ng disaster doon sa isang area na yon. This is also the reason why NCR or National Capital Region is very prone to disaster, because number one reason is that they are overcrowded. Therefore, maraming maapektuhan kapag nagkaroon ng isang hazard doon sa area na yon. Third component or third aspect of disaster is what we call insufficient measurement for its reduction. It means that there is a lacking on education. There is lacking on awareness regarding on disaster and hazard. That's why it is very important that we have education regarding with disaster risk reduction management. Now, let's contextualize our topic to our country. If you will observe properly, our country it is very beautiful because we are composed of many islands, and every island is also unique to each other. As you can see, the Philippines is also composed of many beaches because we are archipelagic. The mountainous area of our country is also beautiful, and here you have the picture of La Trinidad, that Benguet, especially the rice terraces, and Banawe. All of these describe our country, Philippines, but despite of the fact that our country is beautiful, our country is also one of the most dangerous country by means of disaster and hazard. Let's move on and discuss why Philippines is very dangerous by means of disaster and hazard.
Philippines is a part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. If you will observe properly on this illustration, Pacific Ring of Fire is a belt wherein different active volcanoes are located. Not just only active volcanoes, but also higher activity of the tectonic plates or the movement of the tectonic plates. As you can see, here is the Philippines located in the Pacific Ring of Fire. This is the reason why we are very prone to different types of hazards, which is contributed by geological hazard. Also at the same time, Philippines is very prone to different kind of disaster, both by hydrometeorological, because we are located in the Pacific Ocean. As we all know, Pacific Ocean is a birthplace of typhoon. This is the reason why Philippines is prone to many hazard and disaster, and this is also the reason why Philippines is dangerous by means of disaster and hazards. So if you will look this map, we have different kind of hazard has been studied by different experts. So let's strategize. The first image, these are one, okay? Itong map na ito ay pinapakita kung gaano kadalas at kung saan ang location location ng mga earthquake na nangyayari sa Philippines. As you can see from Luzon and Mindanao, lahat ng nagkakaroon ng earthquake, and if you will observe the color coding of this earthquake, the red one, it means ito yung mga type ng earthquake na maaaring magkaroon ng epekto sa ating mga tao. Ito namang color yellow, these are the earthquake, that shallow earthquake lang, okay? And the green one, ito yung mga earthquake na nandun talaga sa pinakailalim ng ating layer of earth, okay? And then the next map is the distribution of volcanoes in our country. Take note of the color coding. The red one are the active volcano and the blue one are the inactive volcanoes. So once again, from Luzon to Visayas, Mindanao, we have also volcanoes. So as you can see, Philippines is very dangerous by means of disaster and hazard. The next map will be, and this one, okay, this is the general map for the sharing the chance of having different hazard every province in the country. Okay, so the color red, it means you have a higher chance of having a hazard, and the lighter color, the looser chance that you will have hazard or disaster in your province. So you can see to our map, this area from Luzon and then from Visayas and Mindanao are totally color red. This is the because of the typhoon that has been located or has been originated in the Pacific Ocean. And usually, dito dumadaan yung mga typhoon sa mga area na to that will then have a higher chance of disaster and hazard. Okay?
Earthquake.
Earthquake. In short, it means it is a feeble shaking to violent trembling of the ground produced by the sudden displacement of rocks or rock materials below the Earth's surface. In short, when we say earthquake, ito yung sudden na paggalaw ng kalupaan or yung pag-move ng kalupaan natin. This one can contribute different kinds of disaster also, as you can see to the pictures on your presentation. So, let's discuss the different kind of hazard contributed to earthquake. Remember, ang term na earthquake ay general din, in a sense na ito lang ang ginagamit natin and i-aspect na gumalaw yung lupa. Pero maraming klase ng hazard connected or associated with earthquake. So, isa-isahin natin ang mga hazard na ito. Yung una, we have group shaking. This is the terminology connected with earthquake itself. Okay, when we say ground shaking, it is a disrupted up, down, and sideways movement or motion experienced during an earthquake. Because of this motion, it will contribute also to the destruction of property or damage to the property, as you can see to the picture itself. Next one, ground rupture. In ground rupture, it is the displacement on the ground due to the movement of fault. Nangyayari to kapag yung isang area o yung isang property ay nasa ibabaw ng fault line. So, ang tendency, magkakaroon ng displacement or pagkasira ng mismong earth layer or ng crust natin. This will be experienced by areas where fault passes through. So, nakita nyo yon dito sa ating picture, biglang umangat yung isang layer ng surface ng earth. Kaya ang tendency, nag-iba yung hitsura niya. Nagkaroon ng ground rupture na tinatawag natin.
Tsunami. This is a series of giant sea waves, commonly generated by under-the-sea earthquake. Totally, this is the result of having earthquake under the ocean. Tendency, ang mga katubig tubig-tubig na to sa dagat at mga karagatan, umaangat siya at nagkakaroon ng malalaking alon. This is very dangerous also to human being. At you can see to the picture. This picture was extracted during the Japanese earthquake and totally disaster for Japan itself. Liquefaction is a process that transforms the behavior of a body of sediment from that of a solid to that of a liquid when subjected to extremely intense shaking. As we all know, in the layer of earth, this is what we call groundwater. This groundwater during earthquake, humahalo siya doon sa sediment. And sediment is also a very strong type of rocks. As we all know, this is a weak type of rock. So wherein kapag ito ay hinaluan ng tubig, nagiging putik yung tsura ng kalupaan. Kaya ang tendency, kapag naging putik na siya, lumalambot siya so therefore, lahat ng nandun sa ibabaw niya, sisipsipin niya yon pailalim. So this is what we call liquefaction. This is very common doon sa mga area na laging nababasa o malalapit sa mga bodies of water. Katulad ng Hagunoy, Bubando, Kalumpit, Tombong, at Bukawi.
Let's move to the next hazard, and that is the volcanic eruption. Volcanic hazard is a phenomena arising from volcanic activity that pose potential to person or property in a given area within given period of time. As you can see to the pitch or atom, itong picture na to, kuha during the Mount Taal eruption, kitang-kita niya totally yung mga community na malapit doon sa mismong vulkan, as in naging talaga, constant lahat ng property talaga nasira noong volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption, let's have to the first hazard associated with volcanic eruption, in that is a lava flow. Lava flow is the flow of incandescent molten rocks from a crater for fissure. Ito yung pagbuga ng magma from the crater, but remember, ito yung mahina o mabagal na paggalaw ng lava from the crater hanggang doon sa pinaka-ibabaw o sa pinaka-ilalim ng volcano. Usually, itong mga lava na to ay nagiging cause ng crushing, covering. Crushing, covering, burning everything in their path. So as you can see to the example of lava flow, this one is taken during the volcanic eruption of Mount Mayon. The next hazard associated with volcanic eruption is what we called ashfall or tephra fall. There is a shower of airborne fine to coarse green volcanic particle. Remember that asphalt is also very dangerous to human beings, because when you look the components of asphalt is an microscopes, makakatagpo ka dyan ng mga pinong-pinong particles, silicates, in ito ang maaaring bumara ito doon sa mga airways natin, sa maaaring mag-trigger ng allergic reaction, or eventually pwedeng mag-trigger ng asthma attack at maaaring makapatay ng isang tao. Usually, asphalt will cause low visibility, barring also pollution, visual distraction, and of course, erosion. You can see the picture itself. This one is also taken during the volcanic eruption of Mount Taal. Kala nyo naka-green grace, pero hindi yan naka-grace. Talaga ang itsura ng after magkaroon ng ashfall doon sa paligid ng Mount Taal. The next hazard associated with volcanic eruption is what we call the heart lahar, and is a rapid flow to thin mixture of plastic material plus water. Kapag nahaluan ng rumargasang tubig, itong pyrolastic material na ito ay or mga binubugang ng volcano, ang tendency magkakaroon to ng lahar o pinagsamang tubig at pyrolastic material, kaya ang nagiging texture na ay naging putik siya sa volcanic. In these particular components of the lahar is very dangerous to human beings. Also, at the same time, to the environment, it will cause destruction, blockage, burying, deposition of pyrolastic material in rivers and other bodies of water.
The next hazard that we will be discussing is the hydrometeorological hazard. So the first hazard associated with hydrometeorological hazard is what we call tropical cyclone, or for short, typhoon. It is irritating organized system of clouds and thunderstorm that originates over the tropical waters within the Philippines. Lahat sila nanggagaling sa Pacific Ocean. Ito yung pagsasama ng mga system of clouds and definitely form of paramagnetism para maging isang tropical depression that eventually magiging isang typhoon. Katulad ng isang nakikita nyo dito sa inyong screen. Tropical cyclone rotate in the counterclockwise direction in the northern hemisphere of our planet. Well, for the southern hemisphere, it moves in the clockwise motion. As you can see, we're in a presentation, this is different naming of typhoon. Depende kung saan tayo originate, yung particular na bagyo na yon. Kapag yung bagyo nag-originate to the Pacific Ocean, ayan katulad nito, and of course, kasama dyan ang Philippines. Ang tawag natin ay typhoon. Pero kung ito ay nag-originate sa Southern Hemisphere ng ating Earth, and tawag natin doon ay cyclone. Well, to the Atlantic Ocean, and of course, to the Northern Hemisphere of the Pacific Ocean, ang tawag natin doon ay hurricane. And iisa lang din ang definition niyan, and that is tropical cyclone, or what we call as a typhoon. If we will compare the speed of typhoon to the different level, we have where the tropical depression, yung pinakamahina na klase ng speed yan ay 61 km per hour. Para ka lang nagmamaneho ng isang vehicle. Well, tropical storm is 62 to 88 km per hour. The speed, we can compare it to the motorcycle. Severe tropical storm is 89 to 117 km per hour. We can compare to SUV or car. We also have typhoon, which is 118 to 200 km per hour. We can already compare to the speed of it to a train system. Well, the strongest one is what we call the super typhoon, which is 220 km per hour and above. We can compare to the speed of the super typhoon to a bullet train. Okay, ganun. Okay, ganun kalakas ang isang super typhoon. Some super typhoon where it can destroy property or even can cause death to a certain level. Where here in the Philippines, we also have rainfall advisories, classification, and measurement. This one is happening especially during the monsoon, rain, o yung tinatawag nating habagat. That's why Pag-asa created this new rainfall advisory. We have the yellow rainfall advisory. orange rainfall advisory, and of course the red rainfall advisory. If we will be talking about the rain measurement or gaano karami yung buhos ng ulan na binubuga or tinatapon ng mga rainfall advisory na yan, if yellow, it is equivalent to half a gallon of water and every hour. Kung orange naman, full of gallon of water naman. For the red, that is equivalent to 1.5 gallon in every hour. That's why this is our responses capacity kapag nag-declare na si Pag-asa ng mga rainfall advisory nito. Kapag yellow, it means we should monitor especially yung mga low-lying area kasi there is possibility na magkaroon ng flooding kapag orange rainfall advisory na. Maging alerto na kasi every moment kailangan na kailangan na mag-evacuate ng mga area na nandun sa mababang lugar. And of course, kapag grade rainfall advisory na, we need to evacuate immediately dahil maaaring magkaroon na talaga ng pagbaha doon sa mga area na kung saan lagi silang apektado ng flooding. The next hazard associated with hydrometeorological is what we call thunderstorm. Thunderstorm is a generally looking storm produced by cumulus clouds. Ito yung mga malalaking ulap at the same time yung mga maiitim na kaulapan na maaaring mag-cause lightning, thunder, strong wind, gust, and heavy rainfall. Okay? Usually, magkakaroon dito ng hailstorm or what we call as tornado. Okay, very common din ito sa Philippines. Lalo na kapag nagpapalit na yung weather system natin from tag-init nagiging tag-ulan, then from tag-ulan nagiging tag-init. So nagkakaroon palagi ng mga thunderstorm. The next hazard associated with meteorological is what we call flooding. In flooding, this is overflooding of the normal confines of a storm or bodies of water na maaaring mag-cause of flooding on the other around maintenance. May tinatawag din tayong flash flood. Itong flash flood, ito naman yung violent na klase ng flooding. Kasi ito yung pamaragasang tubig na usually nangyayari ito kapag ikaw ay nandoon sa ilalim ng mga matataas na kalupaan or mga lugar. Okay, so as you can see on the illustration, that is the example of flooding. The next word associated with hydrometeorological is we call storm surge or daluyong in Tagalog. It is the rise of unshared surge of seawater as the result of primary of the winds of the tropical cyclone. There is a sovereign dahil sa sobrang lakas noong hangin nadala ng mga bagyo and tendency itong hangin na ito ay dinadala niya yung katubigan ng karagatang papunta sa kalupaan. This is very common lalo na kapag sobrang lakas ng bagyo. Sabi noong naapektuhan during super typhoon Yolanda, ito yung pinakamasakit na pangyayari, yung storm surge kasi totally yung karagatan daw talaga o dagat parang nakikita na talaga umaangat doon sa kalupaan. Okay, so ayan, nakikita natin this is example of storm surge.
The next hazard associated with hydrometeorological is what we call El Nino, o sa Tagalog tagtuyot. Okay, ibig sabihin there is a sudden increase in ocean temperature over the eastern and central Pacific Ocean. Ibig sabihin, umiinit itong temperature ng karagatan na malapit sa atin, which is the Pacific Ocean. And then, kapag umiinit ito, nag-trigger ito ngayon na tinatawag nating El Nino. Usually, it occurs at regular intervals ranging from 2 to 7 years and usually developing in the early months of the year. And then, it will decay on the following year. And then, kapag namatay na itong El Nino, yung susunod naman na tinatawag nating La Nina or yung series ng tag-ulan, ayan. Usually, ganito yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas kapag nagkaka-experience tayo ng El Nino. At the same time, tinatawag din nating red tide. Question is how to prevent this one. Okay, the answer for this question is ayan. No, we cannot prevent this kind of scenario or disaster because this is part of the earth system, but we can mitigate this problem. Kapag sinabi nating mitigate, pwede nating bawasan yung epekto ng mga hazard na ito sa ating mga tao at sa iba pang part or aspect ng ating earth by means of the following. Yung una, by means to protection, conservation, and preservation of the balance of the planet, especially our mother earth or nature. Itself, right now, the biggest threat that we are facing is the climate change. Climate change can also contribute to different kind of hazard and disaster. So how to mitigate this one? So here are some example of mitigation programs that we can do. The first one is to better laws on protecting and conserving our nature, especially yung mga laws na mag-regulate, mag-protect among bodies of waters sa mga forests at sa mga iba pang surrounding Saturn at sa environment natin. Number 2 is less than carbon emission. Ibig sabihin, dapat mababa natin yung paggamit natin o pag-provide ay produce natin ng carbon o carbon. Okay. Number of that yung mga vehicles na gumagamit pa rin ng fossil fuels at same time dapat na encourage din lahat ng gumamit ng clean energy or yung tinatawag din nating green energy. Number 3 is unified regulation. It means that not just only Philippines, dapat lahat din na mga bansa ay magkaroon din ng regulation o mga batas tungkol sa protekta o pag-conserve ng Mother Nature and response doon sa mga disaster na yon. Number 4 is cooperation of each nation. Mahalaga na dapat bawat bansa ay nagtutulungan kapag nandito na yung disaster na yon. Kitang-kita na natin ito lalo na nung nagkaroon ng Super Typhoon Yolanda. And finally is about preparation. Example are the different drills that we are performing and education or giving awareness to the people about this kind of disaster on that manner. Maaari nating mapababa yung epekto ng mga disaster na yon.
So that's it. This is the end of our discussion for this day.